Right there, baby.
Well guys, driving in, this is why we like Wyoming. I mean, this is all private land, but there's a herd of elk in here. And there's a big bull out there. I'd be happy with that one. In addition to the elk and the deer, we are now seeing wild turkey. And I'm pretty sure we were busting the trail in the snow a little bit, so I don't know how many other trucks are going to be back up this far. Knock on wood, but we'll see. We got a couple camp spots east scattered out, but there may be people in them. We'll see. Well, we made it to camp. It was 26 degrees about an hour ago. It's probably about 20. Truck used to be red. Camper used to be yellow. There's really nobody in this campground. One other set of hunters came in, and Josh chose this spot because of that. Because obviously we are dry camping with it being this cold.
Well,
and here's these two clowns.
you know what?
Josh has got a story about when we pulled up.
So, the perfect thing you want to hear when you pull up to a campsite, and there's a guy who's been hunting here for 8 years, and we have to tell him 4 times that we're here hunting for mule deer, because he keeps thinking, no, you're hunting for elk, you're hunting for elk, and no, we're hunting for mule deer, and he goes, oh, and we said, you see a lot of mule deer up here? He's like, I've seen 3 or 4 in 8 years. Perfect way to start the hunt. So we'll see if that intel is correct or not. But
after a 4-hour drive, it was a little discouraging. Going through the snow and the ice and the mud.
He said all the deer. We did.
We saw about 40 deer on the drive in.
He said all the other. He said he thought
all
all the
private.
Deer are on the other side of the range, which would be like 2-hour drive from here. I don't know. So we'll have to contemplate whether we give it a go tomorrow.
We're giving it a go tomorrow.
Relentless hunting is a little bit different than a lot of hunters. What you see from the road and what you see if you start strapping up your shoelaces and get a little hiking in, maybe 2 different things. I don't know. This looks like deer country to me. So, but that's the challenge of a brand new spot with no local intel. Google Earth.
It looks beautiful. I'm excited.
Yep.
Don't know.
We're going to get her done.
No matter what, we'll have fun.
That's true. Alright guys, it is opening morning deer rifle season in Wyoming. And it snowed again last night. I think it's probably 15 degrees out. But we were pretty comfortable in the camper. And so we're about to head out and see what we see. Well guys, there's at least one deer up here. We caught one track that's about 2 days old in the snow. And so we're going to just glass from up here. Found a pretty good vantage point.
Sun, little coffee.
Well guys, we've glassed for a decent amount of time this morning. Sun came out. I'd guess it's maybe in the low 30s now. but we haven't seen anything other than the one deer track. So we're gonna go, and Josh's got an idea to take an ATV road that looks like it's gonna get us up pretty high and kind of cover a lot of ground with the ATVs just to kind of start learning the area. Guys, we made it up here, about a 4-mile ride in about 20-degree weather. Got to about 8 or 10 inches of snow in some of the deep parts. But here's the view. Looks like I have some ice on the lens.
Well, we stopped and had some coffee after a 4-mile ride back to there with 2 ATVs. And seen an elk track, only 2 deer track, 4.5 miles of driving, which is not a good sign. So, thinking about going back, breaking down camp, getting down around 6,000 feet, go hunt some pinyon pine and some sagebrush. We don't think the deer are up here. I'm not sure. They were up here before the storm, they're just not up here in general, but should have seen a lot more deer sign than that. So when in doubt, pull stakes, pop smoke, and go to the next place. You get wet?
Not that time. First time I did. First time I went through too fast and I made myself a tidal wave that got me wet all the way to my pants.
That's quite the crossing.
Well guys, we have packed up camp. Took us about an hour and a half I guess. Kind of a lot of work, but I don't really want to spend our only 2 weekends in an area where we didn't even see one doe. And we covered a lot of ground glassing this morning in 3 or 4 different spots. And we drove 4 miles up an ATV road in snow, fresh snow. It's been there the last few days, and we saw some fresh elk track and then 2 old deer tracks that were like probably halfway through the storm when they happened. And then we got to the top and we could glass forever, and there were no tracks in any of the snow that was glassable, which usually you can see the tracks pretty easily in fresh snow. So we talked to some locals also, actually 3 separate groups of hunters, and some were local, some have been hunting here for years, and they just say this is not a good deer area. So probably pretty good for elk because we did see a fair amount of elk sign, but we were on our way kind of cross country. We're going to relocate to a different spot that's lower elevation. We're around 8,500 here, and we're going to go around 6,000, which just so happens to be where we saw all the deer on the drive-in. They were just on private, so maybe all the deer are just lower right now, but that's where we're going. That's what we're doing now.
Back up, then I'm just going to hit it. I'm going to try to head out this way, so because my ass end's going to get pulled to the inside. But just, you don't have to floor it, spin tires, just try to keep up.
to have a lot more deer sign. Way down low, about 5,800 to 6,500 feet. So we're gonna go glass here this evening and maybe make a new camp and see if we're onto something better.
All right, guys, we made it here. Got a little interesting there for a while. I'm sure you enjoyed that clip with the small Toyota pulling up my big old Ford. Toyota's pretty awesome. But anyway, here's our new camp. Got the generator running, we're charging up batteries. But what's awesome about this area is we can glass from camp. And what's really awesome about this area is there's actually deer tracks in the snow, unlike where we just left. Like, we've seen hundreds of deer tracks compared to seeing 3. And all we did was drive in. So that's a good sign. And not many hunters here, so people have been driving and we see some people hiking. We see their tracks from hiking, but no one's here now. So hopefully that's a sign that this will be our place. This is 30 yards outside of where we're camped right now. Stomped flat with deer tracks.
Found a new spot to camp. Seems like there's lots of deer tracks in here. We're a little unsure if you could actually hunt here or not, because it actually says it's owned by the county. But we called the Game and Fish, Wyoming Game and Fish, and talked to a real nice gal named Katie, and she double-checked for us and said, "Yep, we're good to hunt here." So we had to put the snow chains on the truck. I was pulling the trailer to make it up here, but I got camp set up right over there. And right outside of camp is all this, the glass. Looks like there's tracks all up and down the snow there. Some really unbelievable cool canyons. Like a mini Grand Canyon. So, and then out in the distance there's a zillion windmills spinning in the Wyoming wind. So we're hoping this new spot will be better for us, looking for a deer. Wish us luck.
Morning, guys. Day 2. We are stocking up for the day. And somehow we've got 3 sporting goods stores in this little camper. Everybody's gearing up, making some coffee. This whole area is stomped flat like this, guys. But we are not glassing them. I don't know if they just weathered the storm and these cover these trees and they work their way back out into open space. We're gonna keep looking, but good grief. Josh and Jason stayed back at camp. They were glassing that canyon. I decided to look on the other side of the knob above our camper. When I got to the top, I glassed and glassed. Still no deer, only deer tracks. So I decided to work my way back to camp, but I figured I might as well just take a different route than the route I just took to get on the top of the hill. So I'd hike about 50 yards and then glass, hike another 50 yards and then glass. Then it finally paid off. I saw some deer moving below me about 150 yards away. There were 3 deer. The last one was a buck. At first, they all stood together, and I had no shot. But then, the buck left the group. After I shot, the buck took off running. I went ahead and got in position in case I needed to shoot again. I could see where he went down, so I set up my bipod and just started aiming in his direction and watched him. Just watching him, guys, making sure he's not going to get up again. He's twitching every once in a while. I'm pretty sure he's done. Well, guys, he's remained down for 10-15 minutes. Pretty sure he's done. I guess it's maybe a 115-yard shot, and I was just working my way back to camp along this rim here, and it's paralleling the meadow we drove in on. So I was working my way back to camp, just glassing here and there, but I was just trying to be real careful when I come up to this rim and just be real quiet and slow, just in case something was moving through. And I just happened to catch a glimpse of movement, and it was a doe. So real quick, I set up the trigger stick at a standing position and shot a quick range, and then a fawn came out. I was like, I'll just watch these guys for a little bit. And then the buck came out, and the sun was making his antlers glisten. I know he's not a monster, but he's the biggest buck I've ever got, and so I'm pretty happy with it. I'm pretty sure he's a decent 4-point on one side, maybe a 3-point, but there might have been 2 little points. We might be a 4x4. I haven't went down there yet because I'm waiting for Josh and Jason so they can see me before I hike down in there. But it'll be a nice easy pack out. And what I really wanted to do was class one up and then have Jason come, but they were on the move. They were working their way through these trees, and I was just like, man, I don't think there's any way I can get Jason here in time. But anyway, so now I can just be spotter and video guy, I guess. But happy that we can have some deer steaks tonight. Pretty sure I turned on this GoPro, so hopefully we'll get a little bit of footage. But that was exciting.
I just got word that Dale knocked down a 4-point buck, so I grabbed the truck and loaded up all the supplies, and even nice enough to bring him a hot cup of coffee. So we'll go check in with him and see what he's got.
Here comes reinforcements. Those gentlemen look like they're bringing coffee. Nothing better in life than some good hunting buddies. Thank you, big old boy. Not too tall. 4x4. I'll take it as hard as it's been to find a deer this hunt, that's for sure.
Deer punched him. He's got eye guards too, dude. That's awesome.
And the sun was glistening on those antlers. I was like, I don't think I can pass this up.
No.
Dude, nice buck.
That's really awesome.
He's a 10-pointer.
His eye guards are freaking awesome.
He's 10 times bigger than any other 2-point 4-corn I've ever shot in my entire life, so sweet.
Dude, you gotta put hands on him.
He's a fighter, dude.
These guys are talking about he's got a split ear. He's got kind of a rub scar on his nose. He's been a fighter.